Jesus James Angleton, the way you spin that story round. Always sharp, just like a tack when you're tracking the price of the dollar and pound. But drop the narrative, that thing that you inherited. Your history homos chariot just pulled up outside. Scott, William, Patrick on the scene, they're breaking up the subroutine. Something's crackling in your brain, MK Ultra make you go insane. Hey, don't you know we're only on the case for a good time, baby? Took a rose pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby. Honey pots and psyop traps, you can trust the plan until you snap. Slop conspiracy everywhere. History homos clear the air. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Hey, history homos only on the case for a good time, baby. Took a roach pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby.
And we're live. Welcome back to the show. Joining me this week, as always, is Patrick, and also joining us, very excited to have him back on the show. Welcome back, Dalton Pruitt.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah,
Dalton,
brother.
so
Shalom.
I reached out to you because you haven't been on the show in a while, and I asked you what your recent obsession has been, and you told me David Graeber lectures. And I went in ahead and read an entire book by David Graeber.
Which I haven't even done that. I just been on YouTube. I just like, I'm newly unemployed, so I've just been on YouTube watching his he's dead now, so
He is dead.
previous lectures.
Right. But yeah, I immediately went to Google and typed in David Graeber Jewish, and boy was I not disappointed.
Not disappointed.
It's a robust early life section.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
On his Wikipedia. Yeah. He talked a lot about, because he got ousted or blacklisted in the States and had to move to the UK. And that
Right.
was something he talked a lot about, was like when he got there, the anti-Semitism amongst I guess the Brits. I guess they're very anti-Semitic.
Yeah, well, they're just very forthcoming with their opinions on
And
things, I
he
think.
didn't live long enough to see how vindicated they would be.
So true, yeah.
Yeah, he
I
he died
imagine
before the
he
shit really popped off.
Yeah, no, it's funny because he was bitching. I remember I saw Patrick had sent me a video about him bitching about um what's his name? Jeremy Corbyn being
Mhm.
accused of anti-Semitism because he's anti-Israel. And he was going like, no, he's one of the good ones. Like I'm
Uh,
Jewish and I like him.
he um he said something very funny, which he comes from a long line of Jewish heretics like Karl Marx, Spinoza, Jesus, you know. So Graeber, that's who we're talking about today.
Yes.
Jesus
He,
notably had no children.
yeah, well,
True. So how could he be
I guess we're all
descended?
his children when you think about it, but
Yeah, well, he's
well,
supposed to be like our husband in the cosmology of the church.
that is true.
Yeah.
he kissed
Somebody
him
got
on the
mad at
forehead.
me the other day because they were using some verse from the Old Testament to, like one of these right-wing accounts to
Mm,
justify like whatever bullshit they were on about.
cool.
And I was like, well, that's from the Jew part of the Bible, so that ain't got nothing to do with teachings of Christ. And they were
Based,
like,
by the way, this but
yeah, and he got
unironically.
mad at me and he was like, first off, you're a heretic. Secondly, there is no Jew part of the Bible. And I'm like, it's most of the Bible. It's like the entire like first like two-thirds of it is the
Yeah.
Jew
Yeah.
part.
And people will, many people will make the mistake of forgetting that whole first half of the Bible is people misbehaving and not learning a lesson after literally the heavens screaming at them,
Yeah,
you
after
know?
God
Yeah.
himself is telling you don't do that, you do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And that's the foundation of their entire religion. Even now is like God telling them not to do something, and then they try to figure out schemes
Yeah.
to trick
Subtle way.
God.
God's like, I don't
Schemes,
appreciate
scams.
your ruse, your subtle attempt to trick me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. You put up fishing wire all across Manhattan. You think that that's gonna fool me? You think that that I'm like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, he's like swiper, no swiping. Oh
All,
man.
Yeah.
all you
Like
all you're doing
you
is
can
hurting
foil him
bicyclists.
easily.
All they're doing is knocking over bicyclists, really. Yeah, those
The
poor
thing you got to
people.
understand also, they're not, by the way. The wire, chicken wire that they put up there is like up by the to the.
It's at knee level. It's just
It's
everybody.
literally like
Is
a
it
Viet
really?
Cong trap. Yeah, no,
No
it's not.
Yeah.
shit. Oh.
No, it's like up in I don't even know how it's supposed to work, like what the point of it is, but it's one of their,
I'll
one,
tell you what it is. I know all about this. I'm
okay.
I'm well versed in this counter Semitism. But yeah, the wire is so you're not allowed to engage in commerce outside of the home. So the theoretically it's with keeping within that chicken wire, the wire, fishing wire, whatever that goes around. They say, oh, but we didn't really leave our home at all. We're still contained
So
within
wait,
something,
it's Death Stranding.
something like that.
It's the
Yeah,
plot of Death Stranding where it's
yeah.
like
If they
we
go
connected all
outside.
the boroughs.
Yeah.
We've
And
connected the boroughs and we've saved ourselves from the apocalypse.
and isn't
Yeah.
that's the game where they you lug around the jar or something, right?
Yeah, but the whole premise of the game is like you're setting up this elaborate network to
Of
reconnect.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So the Manhattan Jewish fishing line is basically Jew stranding.
Yeah.
and the jar baby is a homunculus in actual life.
Yeah, the
It is
It
jar.
hides in their
actually that is
coats.
in
Yes.
the lore of the show, a game rather, it is actually something of a homunculus, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
it's a
it?
Shabbos baby, so it's all the things that the baby can do all the things you're not allowed to do on Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, it's like Ben Carson or what's his name? Andrew Cuomo's dad, Mario
No,
Cuomo,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But yeah, so yeah, just to answer that question. But I do have a lot of comments to make on David Graeber. Particularly, I will say this. So the book, I'm sure that Dalton, you got the vibe of what the book was about in his lecture because I know he did like,
He covers it pretty extensively in his
yeah,
lectures that the foundation of like all money is that all these going back as far as like 5,000 years, that all these
yeah, Sumeria,
civilizations and tribes that we think of as like bartering, like I'll trade you a chicken for a whatever, for a
mhm,
cow. It wasn't really like that, that they were still like debt-based economies. And then
right.
eventually there was the advent of actual coinage, like money
Right.
itself, that
Which he refers to as the axial age. But it's the other thing is it's interesting that he calls it the axial age because it was named thusly by a German idealist philosopher or existentialist philosopher who said so because it's the axis of the universe, and the reason being is that it's a coincides with the birth of Jesus, and he just goes, "Oh yeah, it's just the time when things changed."
well, with that I would agree, but it's not necessary. I mean, civilizations have ebbed and flowed for much longer than, you know, we're comfortable with establishing a timeline for, or actually much shorter. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I gotta say, I like this book a lot because I think he did excellent anthropology work on it.
He is,
that
yeah,
was his like primary what
Field of
field.
study, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was an anthropologist. He was also, I guess, an anarchist and a maybe a communist. I don't know. He did something to piss off American academia. He had to like flee to the UK, but
Yeah, what's the story with that? I didn't hear anything about that.
I don't really know. I haven't gone
he
like in depth into like what happened there, but he did something where he got
he
blacklisted
did
from all the
something.
universities in America. You know, that was his job, was a professor, so I
Right.
guess he had to move to the United Kingdom to keep working.
So I
Yeah,
understand he was
go ahead.
instrumental in Occupy Wall Street
I was
and
just gonna
getting
say
that,
that, yeah.
which
Yeah, I think he was one of the
Original organizers, yeah.
he was critical of it for like the same reason, like the similar to that Doug Stanhope bit, where I think he was trying to lead Occupy or try to establish himself as like somebody who could lead the charge or work as like the mind of the
The
operation.
mouthpiece of it or something,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they rejected any and all forms of leadership, and he was critical of that, where he was like, "Yeah, I get that we're trying to like dismantle the system, but we kind of in situations like this need like a hierarchy. It can't just be like
Mm.
a loose group of people with no like established goals or
no.
any anybody to serve as like the voice of this operation." But he was like, from what I gather, like pivotal in Occupy Wall Street. Like he was one of the main figures. He was, I guess he was the Bane. I guess he was Bane.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I will say this is that the Occupy Wall Street, very pivotal moment. It was now it was actually what politically activated me to a degree, but in the opposite direction you might imagine, which was I had just gotten my first like good blue collar job and I commuted through Occupy Boston. Like literally had to walk through Dewey Square, which is the
Kicking over hippies.
yeah, literally, we had to walk through hippies, and it was a fucking disgrace.
Yeah.
Literally, it made
Have
me
some
so angry
self-respect.
that these people were sitting around and fucking literally
You
selling
bums.
drugs with like kids with bare feet and shit. It was a fucking disgrace. And I went home after
The
seeing
signs are
that.
misspelled.
They were, and also somebody got convicted of selling heroin in a tent that they were living out of with two 4-year-old children, if I'm
Oh
not
no.
mistaken. That was a big news item. But regardless, I went home that day and I saw a video by Peter Schiff, and it was called
Oh
"I'm
yeah.
the 1%. Let's talk." And it was him going down to Zuccotti Park in New York saying, hey, I'm I own a something of a hedge fund. It's not quite a hedge fund. It's more an investment firm or whatever. And I agree with a lot of things you have to say, but you're misdiagnosing the issue. And he explained how the Federal Reserve System worked. And you can see a lot of people on the video going like, huh. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And what do you know? I went down a deep rabbit hole that I have yet to really emerge from fully, I suppose.
Peter Schiff's
But
wearing gloves. He's got those plastic wraps around his shoes that they have in like meat
Oh,
packing
at the end
facilities.
of The Departed.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, he's dressed
Yeah.
like Mark Wahlberg in the Departed.
He's a
Um.
great Twitter follow, Peter Schiff, because
Peter
like
Schiff, I love when he defends Epstein. That was hilarious.
Oh
Yeah.
that
no.
was yeah, but my favorite thing is like as Bitcoin continues to outperform
Yeah.
the history
He's
of
like,
all
it's about
efforts.
to fall. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
about
a
to fall
scam.
apart.
It's going to zero. All my money's in gold and silver, and it just continues to get like shatter every record, hit new all-time highs. It's
Yep.
like, well, this if this is a scam, it's a very lucrative scam for everyone involved.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's a guy, a gold salesman. It's like being if you were a guy was an oil exec, he wouldn't be like he's going to go around and say like fuck electric cars. It's literally the perfect analogy. So
Simple as, yeah.
yeah, but it
It's
is interesting. Also, I think it's really interesting is that this book does a lot to sort of debunk the notion, the Peter Schiffs of the world, really, where
mm,
there's this sort of Adam. It really comes from the Adams, and the book identifies this very pointedly that Adam Smith has is the very origin of the term economics. It is like it is the genesis, if you will, of the entire field of study of economics, and it starts with the falsehood that that trade initially, or I should say markets initially emerged out of a barter system, which is again, even his contemporary anthropologists would have told him no, that's a falsehood as well. It is not like a controversial thing to say that coinage emerged much later than civilization did.
Right.
yeah, stands to reason.
um,
I
Thousands of years, in fact. Yeah.
I want to I have a point of contention with Mr. Graeber. I do think that having a hierarchy is a bad thing. I think having one person talk is a bad thing. It's much easier and better to have 1,500 people in a park all speak in unison at the same time.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
that's like Central Park every weekend.
Okay.
yeah, a hive mind would also work. Like if you had like a Borg
The
on
Borg, yes,
site,
of
yeah,
course. Assimilated, yeah.
You're
yeah, but
sitting you're
these
sitting
were just
around
a group of like loose hippies, kind
Lucy
of
Peas
with no direction or focus, and that's why
or
like
shoes.
the ideologically, because I'm with you, Scott, where it's like ideologically, I look at these movements like Occupy and I go, I agree with everything that you're saying, but you as people are disgusting and
Yeah.
embarrassing to associate with.
Well, that's intentional, and they put the most disgusting. I do want to say that that news item I was just talking about with the 2-year-old, 4-year-olds in the tent with the heroin thing, like that was obviously massively sensationalized in order to like put a stain on the minds of the average person. Especially given in Massachusetts is like there's this really bad opioid problem here to this day,
Mhm.
and so the association with heroin selling is absolutely like a black mark of death for like the average my mom who is in every other way libtarded, by the way. So it's like it's a perfect like
But
Achilles heel almost to
mm,
the suburban mom of New England.
it's
Um,
yeah, a poison pill for, any the idea of any kind of demonstration, assembly in a public place from the mind of someone with that in their memory, that story about the kids in the tent with the heroin, they're gonna have the same reaction. They're
Negative
going,
association, right?
yeah, they're going to wish that, yeah, it's good that they break them up. They've been there too long. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
well, they
like
were there a really long time, and Dewey Square is not large for anyone who's been to Dewey Square
get
before.
the hell out of here. Yeah,
Right? Can
write
I say
some,
this?
write it
Uh,
down and go
I
home.
actually love the no. I would love the idea that David Graeber would see Dewey Square now because it's a officially branded beer garden now.
Oh,
It's like an official
Really?
beer company beer garden now.
here's what we think of your revolution.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Beer
Um,
flights.
yes, literally from Night Shift Brewery, not
Ugh,
a sponsor, obviously.
boo.
Um, but yeah, so I do think
Drink
that's
what's in
funny.
the
But
fridge.
my point being is that David Graeber in general, I want to make this broader point. So I
gendered
Occupy Wall Street
language.
for me was a rabbit hole down into libertarianism for a few years, and eventually down the fabled alt-right pipeline, libertarian pipeline. And but my point being is that both David Graeber and libertarianism and Peter Schiff both note their similarities, by the way, are a side quest for high IQ white guys to go on and do nothing with their lives and be concerned with stupid shit.
Dude, one of my co-hosts on Cornfed, my show, Cornfed, he's like a staunch libertarian, and
So
he's
not
like,
Sal, I'm guessing.
it's not sad. No, so
Okay.
I don't, if you said the word libertarian to Sal, I don't think he would know what it is. I don't think he would
Yeah.
have any clue what you're talking about.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I do a
What do you want to
Saturday
do a
show with my
little?
friend Dave, who's like a libertarian hermit in New Hampshire.
Hell yeah.
And he's like all about it, and he's like a crypto anarchist or some kind of something, and he's constantly talking about like I'm done with banks. I will end the Fed, and I'm like, man, this is like you're just scaring the hose with this kind of shit, man. Like,
Yes.
it's a noble endeavor. You're going to take down the Federal Reserve, but I feel like most people nowadays would, you just want to have some money in the bank and live a comfortable life.
You maybe have
I
your
feel like
shoes
you're
on.
fighting a Goliath you cannot possibly stand
Yeah.
up against.
Fight the Federal
I
Reserve.
coined a neat neologism for libertarianism, and I think that would be economic dispensationalism. Is the
Beautiful. That's nice. Yeah.
dispensationalism, of course, being like the end times Christians who go like, "Oh,
Mm,
we need the Jews to have Israel, otherwise the end times can't come."
mm.
But so in this instance, it would be libertarianism are like, well, it's already down, it's already decided that the Federal Reserve must collapse because we've gone off the gold standard. Ergo, we're part of the millennium of suffering before the end times truly comes. It's a complete falsehood. I mean, COVID should have disabused them of this, because they doubled the fucking money supply and we're still here. It actually really, I would say, like, I don't know if Graeber was alive at this point, but all of his prescriptive points about modern monetary theory were like permanently enshrined as reality after they doubled the money supply and during COVID.
I think he
Um,
died of COVID.
Yeah.
I think COVID
Um.
killed him.
Vaxxed. That's the
He.
real question.
It was
Yeah, no, he
necrotic.
died like I think it was like early
He
2020.
must have had one of the
Yeah.
early versions of the vaccine. That's why.
Yeah, yeah, he
Unfortunate.
had the alpha.
Yeah.
He had the 1.0.
Necrotic pancreatitis, September 2nd,
So it
2020.
had nothing to do with it. Yeah, he was sick.
But cured during
Pancreatitis,
COVID.
bro,
He was.
like to fucking
Hold
have a
on.
bev.
Hold on. You need more. You need. Hold on.
Bro, like to have a beverage.
Hold on. You think he liked to have a bev? He was in Venice. He was having a bev.
Ooh.
All right, so yeah,
Was
you're
he
in
a
Venice.
merchant in Venice?
Oh, brother, no.
Check that early life tab.
There's
Dude,
a
that
pound
killed
of.
me when Trump took Shylock for a spin. And it was like he was like,
You know
I
what? I
didn't
gotta say, I
know.
believe that he didn't know that that had an anti-Semitic
That's
connotation.
such an old school that definitely is like from his era of anti-Semitism. That was like probably what his
He has gay sex with Jewish men, so I mean, I don't really take it for serious that he's anti-Semitic.
no, he's not anti-Semitic. But I do believe that he was like indoctrinated with a lot of like a lot of people around him using the word Shylock.
Sure, yeah,
I th
probably Roy Cohn.
Right, yeah, Roy Cohn himself probably said it quite a
Yeah,
bit.
I
no,
promise
Cone
that. Yeah.
Cone gave him the pass.
Yeah,
Gave
he
him
gave him the S pass.
the K pass. So
Have you seen the
uh
picture of him of Roy Cohn and Trump, and Trump's like dressed as a twink, like as Roy Cohn's twink?
I
what?
haven't seen that, no.
Oh, it rules. I'll pull it up right now.
It's obvious, especially since that movie came out, The Apprentice. It's obvious where Trump picked up all of his like queenie sensibilities, like how
Yes.
Ah,
of a diva he is.
yeah.
It was because he was under the tutelage of Roy Cohn that he
All
became
gold.
Yeah.
the
All
gayest
gold all
man
the
in
time.
America.
Yeah, hang on. I gotta pull this pic up. It's fucking astounding. Why does
You're
it keep
fired.
disappearing? You fired cum into my ass. What the? I literally, I gotta save this picture.
You need to hotkey that picture. You
Um,
need to be able to push F2 and it comes up. Ready
I got
for
it. Okay, we got it, folks.
folks. Oh, we got him. This should do it. This should topple the
Check this out.
regime. Wait, I
Oh,
saw this as
hell
a
yes.
meme. I didn't know what this
This is
That's
was.
real.
Donnie?
That's Trump. Look at his
Damn,
face.
Donnie's looking slim
Yo,
there.
what? When was what?
This is like
When,
1970 something.
brother? Not the
Donald
blush.
Chalamet.
Not the blush. Eh,
So yeah, Trump. This is the thing. Like, someone was saying to me, oh, do you think Trump's in the Epstein files? And I'm like, bro, they don't gotta. He don't gotta be in the Epstein files. His ass is fucked.
his ass is grass.
His ass is penetrated by Judaism.
So, I mean, when he goes to the wall, he acts like he hasn't been there before. But, yeah.
He
He just
laid the
assumes it's.
bricks,
He's
dude.
like looking for the hole. When he goes up to the
I
wall, he's like
I
looking for
was
the
set.
hole.
There you
Yeah.
go. There it is. So,
Uh,
what were we talking about?
we're
Graeber,
talking about
Graeber.
David Graeby's.
Yeah, but
Oh, yes.
Gravy's. I got
we
Gravy's
wish
on the
him
brain.
well. But
Sure,
yeah,
man.
so
I guess. I
unfortunate.
mean, he seems like he lived okay. I mean, if he,
Oh, but this is not home, my friend. So we all got to pay. Well, speaking of debts, we all got to pay the big one at the end.
true.
Yeah,
So
I guess I got interested. I don't know what I was like, what rabbit holes I was going down YouTube that his stuff started getting recommended to me, but I just started watching it like maybe like a month or two ago, and I got really interested in it because I myself am mired in debt,
Mm,
just drowning in it, and I've been trying to like wrap my head around money and finance and how all of it works. And so I started watching his stuff. And I found I found it really interesting. I was like, oh, this is like I never thought about money in the way that he's like explaining it. Which
yeah.
I don't, whether you agree with him or not.
No, I agree with him
oh yeah,
100%.
I agree with him on pretty
No,
much
he's
like
completely
most.
right. I've completely. Modern monetary theory is not. It's a theory in the sense that gravity is a theory.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's just how the Federal Reserve works,
okay,
basically.
yeah, because I come from like, I grew up in the South and I come from people where like a people who didn't never had that much money and where money is like very real and the most important thing ever. And so I have like a core memory that's imprinted, like a foundational inflection point where when I was really young and we were visiting my uncle and we were just all in the living room and I was having those like like when you're a kid and you start having big thoughts
Hmm.
and I just was saying them out loud, which you're not supposed to do. I remember saying something to the effect of like, so like, what is money? It's just like paper. And my dad and my uncle got violently angry with me for
Oh
expressing
man.
that thought, where they were like, yeah, if you think it's just paper, you try fucking living without it.
holy shit.
They
Yeah,
they were
that,
so fucking mad at me for
that's
disrespecting money.
Right.
that's
And
wild,
so
man.
I've like carried that my whole life, and I've never been able to hold on to any amount of money. So, honestly, same as my dad. That's probably why I got so mad. But like
No,
yeah,
yeah,
so when I
that
start going down the Graeber rabbit hole, where he really like dissects what money is,
Mm,
it turns out I was not wrong.
yeah.
That it is like in effect, it is like just this game that was created and is constantly being rewritten by like the people in it would be like it's like you're playing Monopoly, but the person you're playing against is Parker Brothers or
Right.
whoever makes Monopoly, right?
It's Milton Bradley, but yeah.
Milton Brad. Okay, fine. It's like you're playing
whatever, dickhead.
Monopoly against Milton Bradley,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
just
that was
like
just an autistic brain fart out. It just
you
had
get what I'm
to.
saying, where it's
For
like
the
Yeah,
they
no,
record.
they
I
they
do get it. Yeah.
create the
Absolutely.
structure for it. They just make it
Yeah.
up whole cloth, however they want economic system to work, and then you have to abide by it,
Well,
but you're
it's
also playing
particularly
against them.
since the central banking and like the printing, like the central bank phenomenon that exists in the wake of the Rothschilds getting rich enough that they could just buy every bank in the world, basically. This is the thing. This is the other thing. This is the glaring thing that fucking enrages me about this book. While it's also an excellent piece of anthropology, he just glaringly doesn't discuss such important things such as, well, why the Federal Reserve? He just goes, literally jumps from fucking like the 1400s until Nixon is
19.
going off the gold standard in
Yeah, yeah,
1971.
yeah.
It's fucking infuriating, and it doesn't mention the fact that it was literally a conspiracy. They went in, they knowing that if anyone found out that this group of bankers and politicians were getting together to discuss the Federal Reserve Act, they did it in secret and all went in different fucking boats and planes and cars and trains
Yeah.
in order to get there,
To
because they
check
knew
live.
that it would be viewed as a bunch of wealthy bankers of a certain uh, uh,
Persuasion.
persuasion were
Mhm.
buying the U.S. economy, which, by the way, much like had happened only like 18 or 19 years before in the panic of 1893 when JP Morgan bought the entire economy from Grover Cleveland. So that's the other thing they don't even talk about either is it just there's so much. He just glazes over bimetallism and all this other shit. But I do like the way that he this is something that I sort of struggled with, and I think he really cogently put this together, which is this, like, there's two periods in history where coinage and like money became hard, and that is the period of like the Hellenistic period until the fall of the Roman Empire, and then also the colonial era until the boomers, basically.
Mhm.
Literally were cut off abruptly when the boomers came of age,
The,
essentially,
the boomers
which
coming
was,
of age is the equivalent of the fall of the Roman Empire.
it's not dissimilar in a way.
Shit.
Right.
But I was just gonna say, though, the interesting thing is that he does actually sort of put a reason to why this is a thing, is because in those time periods more manpower needed to be put into sort of like scouring the earth of getting more of this precious metal, first of all, and second of all, meat grindering in wars. That's the other thing,
Yes,
the
of
other thing
course.
that is massive as well. And I never really thought of it that way before, but it makes a lot of sense, is that like literally there's two generations of people that just got hoovered up, like
Hmm. Hmm.
almost like abducted by aliens, the World War II, one and two generations, and then to a lesser degree Vietnam. But
Hmm.
they all got hoovered up and then just disappeared off the face of the earth. And the only way that you could get a population of people to do that is to give them actual currency that buys real land and shit. Because here's the other thing I think he misses too, is that he sort of plays with the idea, but land is currency. Being able to own land is currency. And I'll also say this: anything that you can physically defend is real. It's actual. It's
Yep.
not like debt. Anything. So again, unless like the federal government burns you to death, like the Waco, but you know what I mean. Like even Randy Weaver got restitution from the government. Like at the end of the day, after they killed his whole family.
Our
So I'm just
bad.
saying, there's a couple little quibbles I have with this whole thing, but I really respected the whole part where he sort of identified why and how. Um, so to put the fine point on it, like in the time period of which, the Hellenistic period and then the Roman Empire, the reason why there was so much coinage going on was because this was this period of massive expansion and sort of like civilizing the whole planet. And that necessarily means that there was a lot of conquering going on, which means that there needs to be a motivation for soldiers to do so. And in doing so, they have to be paid by something that they can physically move around and plunder from wherever they're going, which is why money became a thing in the Roman Empire,
Yeah,
essentially.
he something he says a lot is that money, but I basically like money is violence.
Correct.
Yeah.
That like the entire monetary system is based on like either threat of or use of violence.
Yep.
Well,
And
when
you
the government becomes involved, yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
well, I mean you feel that even now, like like nowadays if you because I mean I guess like you would think of violence as like more direct violence would be what you're talking about, like soldiers going in and killing all the women and
Yeah,
children and take
and
plundering
taking the
the village.
gold and melting it
But
down to
it's
bring it
like
to coins.
even
Yeah,
nowadays, like if you have $0, like if you have no money and you're not engaged, if you're not participating in
You're a
the
criminal.
system, then the violence enacted upon you is just like through the layers of bureaucracy that we have, where you'll be homeless and you'll get no help. You'll
Mhm.
just like there's no way to survive in the world without there be without money. So it's like the monetary system itself is one of like inherent violence. Where yeah, we're
I
all
guess I would say that not to like poo-poo that. I kind of disagree with him, particularly where I live, dude. The fucking homeless people are living high on the hog. Just saying. But
well,
regardless,
you know what I well, like, but it's not an ideal like I'm saying like
well, they're choosing to be homeless so they can take drugs.
sure they're either that or they're too like mentally ill to actually
Yeah, yeah,
function, and so like yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a direct nowadays it's not like a direct violence where
yeah,
so you're gonna get your legs broken or somebody's gonna
for
like shoot
sure.
you,
Literally stab you to death. I will say
but
this is interestingly. All the homeless, there's never a big, tall homeless guy. They're all little, scrawny motherfuckers because all the big guys get murdered.
right,
Um, yeah.
I guess
Okay.
so.
Just an observation I've made.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, there is like some truth to because now it's an indirect mode of violence where you just have like these financial systems in place and all the just different layers of bureaucracy within that.
Yeah.
Because I've dealt with this like myself going being in and out of the psych ward and struggling with it where it's like yeah when you're like hard up for money and you're like can't function, the world becomes a very cruel, cold, violent place. Like
It
Absolutely.
can be.
you start to feel the walls closing in on
Well,
you.
particularly if you're like
Mhm.
a social element, like if like Dalton, you're a normal person. Like I know you were in and out of the psych ward, but I mean you are a functioning human being, and you're not like a literal bio weapon that needs to be funded to sort of cause chaos. You know what I mean? Have you heard of the term anarcho tyranny? I'm getting off on a tangent again, but I did
Well,
have
I
a
mean,
Yeah.
but then also, and I guess like the more direct forms of violence, because when they talk about these sorts of things, like the ongoing like the conflict right now between Israel and Palestine, it's always like a dollar amount, like this many
Right.
billions of
I was
dollars,
just gonna come to that.
you
Yeah.
know.
I was just gonna say the fact that it's the fact this is what he would say also, and I agree with him on this, is that the entire sort of fiscal system that we operate on is based on this the fact that we have a fiat currency that's based off of faith in the US dollar, that actually in real life translates to every country is forced to back their currency with the US dollar at gunpoint, essentially. It's meaning
Yes.
when Saddam Hussein went
That's why
off to,
they killed Gaddafi for this
yeah.
shit.
Well, that was because he got rid of his nukes. Actually, he had nukes and he got rid of them, and they were
He
like,
yeah
"Oh, sick, we can fucking shit up now."
he wanted out. He was like the guy.
Yeah, he's based.
Yeah, he was like one of the guys in The Sopranos that goes to Tony and is like, "Hey, I just want out," and
Yeah,
then Tony's gonna they're gonna kill him. So that's pretty much what they did. Like Gaddafi was trying to get like break free from all of this, and so they sent in Jim from The Office and whoever else to shove a bayonet up his ass.
yeah, and
I just want
Hillary
to
Clinton herself.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton did. Yeah, she did Benghazi, and
Well, she did
whatever.
say, "We came, we saw, he
He
died."
died.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't even know like the reason for they probably just think like, oh,
Oh, it was the
Libya from
video.
Back to the Future, and so we had to,
Yes.
yeah, obviously we had to
He
do
was
something.
arming the IRA,
I
and which
think most people
also
don't even
based, by the
realize.
way.
Yeah, I think most people don't even realize that Gaddafi wanted to like depeg Libya from the U.S. dollar and like have like a gold economy, like an economy based on gold. And Hillary Clinton was like, "Not on my watch."
Yeah.
And then we did Benghazi, and then they made the movie. I think it was a Michael Bay
That's an
movie.
important part is that the movie got made and that everyone can remember it as Jim from The Office looked at the camera sarcastically as he shoots, some Libyan
Yeah,
guy in the head.
and that goes back to like everything when you talk about like how it's all based on money. It's like what greater injection into at least the American economy than the entertainment industry. So it's like for
Yeah,
every
Shane Gillis's career, we can thank the fact that Libya did not go off the U.S. dollar standard.
yeah, so for every horrific act of war that is done by the United States or just that happens, there's like guaranteed at least hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of episodes of Kill Tony.
Yeah, for Kill Tony, for Shang, for all these guys, and just like for like the movie that's going to get made about it.
True that, yeah. Um, Yeah, no, I agree with Graeber on that because you're right. There is an inherent background level of violence
Hmm.
that is inherent to the fact that the reason why the U.S. dollar has value is simply because if a country were to stop buying U.S. securities bonds, we would just kill them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're running like a global protection racket.
Yeah,
Nice.
Like yeah, it's
essentially.
like the U.S. government is essentially like the mob.
Yeah. But the best part is, and this
Hey.
is the other thing that I infuriated me that he did not mention this, is like he like sort of vaguely mentions that the Federal Reserve Bank is a private bank that is the chairman is picked by the executive branch. But it's like, who are the fucking shareholders? You didn't
Yeah.
mention that at all. You didn't even explain what it means that it's a private bank. That means that there's shareholders that own shares in our economy, and they don't have to tell you who they are. And they're fucking rich.
Right.
and
Well, that might actually extend beyond the early life section because I isn't it? It's now coming out that probably a lot of those people are like Saudi Arabians and Qatar. I don't even know you Qatarans,
They
Yeah.
are Qataris, but
Qatar
Saudi
heroes.
Arabians are the
Qatarites.
kosher choice for. Why do you think? Why do you think they got to be? Do you think it was called Saudi Arabia 1,000 years ago when Muhammad was walking around in sandals? No, it was called Arabia, and Saud is the family of sheiks that were chosen by the British Empire because they said we won't destroy Israel.
Right.
It was an agreement that was fucking made, and also they're the sponsors of all the Sunni um, terrorist factions, which also coincidentally do whatever Israel wants. Like
Mm.
ISIS, for instance, or that guy who's now in charge of Syria. Nobody fucking paid attention. I was the only person paying attention that the weekend that the Luigi, even though I don't think it was him, shot that fucking CEO guy. They did a coup in fucking Syria that weekend, and
Hmm.
everyone was too busy watching the video over and over again. This dude getting justifiably fucking laid out. Um,
Right.
and the nobody paid attention to the fact that there was literally a color revolution in Syria that is now even more
Hmm.
casualties, fucking genocide going on. It's just a fucking mess. They just treat these people like absolute pawns.
And yeah, and it's the word. Back to what you said, I also would agree that there is a tacit level of violence holding up, the world, and just the everyday man who's scraping by, especially if he has outstanding debts, which is the primary. What's Graeber say?
System of control. Well,
Yeah,
that's what I would
sure,
say.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I
It,
think I think well, Graeber he says that like the money itself is debt. They like he said that this idea of like the American whatever they call it here in the States, the deficit, this like this trillions of dollars, this number they keep throwing around.
Yeah,
Mhm.
deficit spending, right?
Yeah, like he said something in one of his lectures where he was like, well, what's stopping the United States from paying that off? Like, why can't there just be no debt? And he was like, well, if there's no debt, then there's no money. So
Yeah,
that number has to be there. Like, there's no intention of that ever getting paid off because that's what gives the
right.
money its value.
Mhm.
And he was like,
Yes,
that's all that shit you see on the news where they keep talking about this like these trillions of dollars that the U.S. owes to whoever.
China mostly.
Yeah, that's just like a system of control to keep you slaving away at like whatever it is you're doing, and never like acting on anything because that it doesn't mean anything to them.
No,
They're not going to pay that. There's no
it's
reason for them to pay it off, nor can they pay it because if they
yeah,
did pay it off, there'd be no money.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one's coming to collect on that. That to it's to get a worm in the brain of people who think China's just over, the horizon. Yeah, but
Further, it also it incentivizes China to like supply things to us that we can buy to them. Otherwise, how are they going to get their money back
Yeah,
in
I
any
think
way?
the tricky thing about all of this, and this, like even like I've been watching a lot of his lectures, and I do need to read the book, but like it's so far beyond the scope of anything that anybody can understand. Like
I
it's
have a
so
pretty good idea how it works.
yeah. I mean but I mean it's like it's so big, there's like it's such a labyrinth that to try and even begin to talk about this with anybody in any meaningful way they just like they can't like they can't like wrap their heads around such a lot of these concepts because like I remember I was talking to somebody about this. I think it was just on Twitter. Somebody was like commenting back and forth with me where it was about the US debt, and the only argument they had was like they were like, well, the difference between you not paying your student loan and the United States government with the debt that they have is they've never missed a payment. And I'm like, what the fuck what are you even talking about?
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make yeah. So what they
There's
just
also not like it doesn't. That's a non sequitur.
yeah, and but it's like that's about as far
bullshit.
as anybody can go. I think as far as like trying to even engage these kinds of materials because it's like
How about the
if you
fact that
start
your
to
student loan was sold to you as this valuable thing that you're going to make a lot of money with, and it's clearly the fact that they printed too many of these degrees. Even if you don't have have a degree, don't have a degree, the value of the end product that you ostensibly bought by getting the loan is massively devalued by the inflation of the amount of degrees given out to fucking retards.
sure,
Yeah,
and if I had any awareness when I went to college, I went to the University of North Texas, and I remember one of the selling points. This is how they sold it to you, which now this would be a red flag. Was they said they're currently at UNT there are 36,000 students enrolled on going to this campus, and at the time I was like, wow, this is a really big university. That's awesome. But thinking about it now, I'm like. You're telling me all 36,000 of these kids are gonna fucking
Have college level jobs, yeah.
have nice jobs after this?
Yeah,
There's
go
no
fuck
fucking
yourself.
way.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little story. My wife and I got together when she was still my girlfriend at the time, but she was finishing her degree. And, but we were living, pretty hand to mouth. I still am not like a fucking billionaire myself. So I was kind of helping support her. And then she was working at night at like AC Moore. And, but she had a couple more classes to finish out her degree, and I stepped up to volunteer to do an assignment here or there because it was an online class. And part of the assignment was, in addition to like writing, essay questions, whatever, was you had to review other people's questions and have a comment on it or something, just to show that you did like the instructions. I don't know if you've ever taken an online class, but this seems like it was pretty boilerplate for what it is. Now, this is a university. I'll say I'm not going to say what university it is, but it's a university. And I went through the responses of the other people who were answering the same questions that we were answering, And these people were fucking illiterate. They couldn't fucking read or write. I couldn't believe at the low functioning level of the amount of the people that were answering these questions. It's shocking. And the fact that this was somebody who's ostensibly going to leave this place and then go out into the job world and command a 50+ thousand dollar a year salary. I'm sorry. This was not going to happen. This was an intentional tanking of the institution of higher learning by printing out of degrees like that. It's absurd. It's fucking
Yeah,
absurd.
and now even now the narrative is flipped now. So like when I was when I was a teenager, when I was growing up, that I guess I was the last one of the last generations that was told like you have to go to college and get a degree so you can get a good job and not have to like work with your hands. Like
Hmm.
the good jobs are the
Feeling
ones.
pretty good about
God
working with my
forbid.
hands right now, by the way.
God forbid.
Yeah, where but that was like everybody said like if you don't go to college, you're gonna have to suffer working like some bullshit blue collar job, and
Mm.
that's not where the money is, and you're gonna, it sucks. So if you go to college, you'll be able to get one of these like thinking jobs that pays better, and that's like the path to financial freedom.
Yeah.
So I did
And
all
here we,
that.
yeah,
I
here
did
we
all
all
that,
are
and
thinking, I think good.
now all those same people, like that same generation, people are saying like are you fucking stupid? Like, why did you think that going to college was going to pay off for you? You should have gone to trade school and become like a welder. It's
Mm.
like they've completely changed the bill of goods that they're selling, which is probably still a false. It was a false bill of goods when they sold to me. Now it's
Yeah.
probably equally false now to the kids that they're telling to go to trade school. I mean, it seems like the reality is that you have like all these people who do have a lot of money who don't have to actually work for it, who don't want to have to fucking do anything for themselves, and they're trying to goad the next generation of kids into
They're just responding to what
tradesmen.
goofy shit they hear on Fox
Mm.
News. They don't have any fucking brain of their own. But yeah, no, I agree. Boomer advice is less than worthless. They're idiots.
It's poisonous.
I will say this wasn't a piece of advice, but my parents when I graduated high school were like, "Well, we're not going to help you go to college." So I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna go then," and it worked out okay. But it was more of a like lack of confidence in me, I think, than anything, rather than them like genuinely thinking that was good advice.
Oh, my
Um,
parents had the utmost confidence in me, and I've let them down every step of the way.
Hey.
Yeah, they really believed in me and still do, and I don't know why, because there's my track record has only shown that I'm not gonna come through.
That's very
Well, I
sweet. I think
mean,
that's very nice you have that relationship with your family,
It is
John.
nice, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm only just now talking to my mom again after like years of not talking to her. So it's good. I think I'm in
um,
a good place, but I don't ever take anything that they say seriously because they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
hey,
Right.
I'm
the
like,
co-
like literally like extensively more worldly and informed with them on literally every topic.
mm. You really should just look at it as a time to exercise your patience, your wit, and your, I don't know, something or other. Because, I mean, yeah, you just have to accept at some point it's not worth fighting with,
Oh
especially
yeah, I'm
your
not saying
loved ones
fight. I
about.
don't fight with them either,
No,
but I'm just saying it's just you when they say stuff, you just go, uh-huh, uh-huh. That sounds
right.
good, right?
Mm,
I
eh,
guess gotta tell you this. My
all right.
I my my wife has been working at a new job and she's been super stressed out and it's her birthday coming up this next week. Happy birthday to my wife. Um and my dad was like, "Oh, what's wife's want to do for her birthday this year?" And I'm like, I don't think she wants. She's kind of stressed out about, a new whole situation, life changes. It's a big thing, new career, all that kind of stuff. And he's mad. He's mad that we can. By the way, his great big grand invitation was like, "Hey, you want to come over my house and have a barbecue?" Like, not really. I don't really want to drive into the fucking into the boonies to go see to go see your fucking swamp house, and then you and your girlfriend can get drunk and then not have to drive anywhere, and then we can have a grand old. I'm good on that, actually. Thanks. But just the fact that he got offended that we were like, it's, we're not really trying to do anything for birthday this year, but boomers, man, it's their world, we just live in it.
Dude, I mean, yeah, what's wicked about that is that the people want to make it about themselves.
Yes, he was offended that we were like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get over to your house for my birthday.
What the hell?
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird because I mean, there really does seem to be a weird generation gap where young folks really just do not have we don't seem to want to celebrate as much and as often and as
What's to
openly.
celebrate?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it's just gonna happen again next year, probably.
Yeah, I mean, any
Um,
adult, you hit a certain age where you go, I really don't even want to think about this shit.
Yeah,
I think
they're
so.
in fucking absolute Arrested Development where they have to have birthday celebrations. You're 60 years old. I'm not coming to your fucking birthday party.
I
Also, let's
mean,
not even get started with the second marriage thing in your fucking 50s. What are you gonna have a family now? Go fuck yourself with this.
Well, that's cool. My
speaking,
aunt just has a
keep
new
pimping,
boyfriend and she's in her like 70s.
That's fine if you want to
pimping,
go out
pimping.
with somebody. I'm saying going through the whole steps of having a big party where everyone needs to give you $100+ gifts, and fucking you have to literally organize a fucking marriage license with the state. No, you're just trying to recapture something that you feel you missed out on.
Yeah, no. We keep coming up with solutions. That's like the second marriage is like the UBI of the social life of the modern American.
Go,
Um,
explain that. I don't
oh,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just
understand at
know.
all what the fuck you're talking
it's a
about.
poor solution to a shit problem that we never asked for,
Okay.
but y-
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
we don't
I
want.
mean,
Sorry, that was bad, but yeah,
No, now it
I
makes
get it.
sense.
You connected the dots.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what the solution. This goes back to like what we're talking about, all of it, like the whole monetary money and everything. Because Graeber also talked about. Did you get in any of the bullshit job stuff with him?
I
yeah,
looked a little bit into it, and he's right, by the way. There's a lot of bullshit jobs, a lot of
yeah.
email jobs. I
Yeah,
believe what the kids say on Twitter now is Jewish daycare.
What
Jewish
the
daycare for women.
hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wrote a book called Bullshit Jobs, which another book I've not read, but I watched a lot of lectures about it. Where
He should rename. The new edition should be called Jewish daycare.
yeah, the Jewish daycare edition.
See
But
who has the publishing rights to this
apparently
book.
it went global. Like it became this like global phenomenon as more and more people started to speak out about it. And he landed on a number where he was like, I suspect as much as like 40% of the global economy is made up of people doing jobs where they either contribute nothing, they do nothing, or it's a negative, they're having a negative effect.
Yeah.
And he was like, essentially what you're seeing is like a lot of these jobs exist that pay extravagantly where people do nothing all day. They exist as a sort of UBI as everything becomes more and more technological and automated, and there's no need for like a lot of jobs now, but you still have to generate income. That now there's this whole class of jobs that you know where you do nothing all day.
The quiet part he's not talking about is the fact that these are all female
A
jobs.
lot of them are girls,
All
yeah.
of them are girls, yes. And the hope it is not pointless. The point is to get the women out of the home so they can't raise a family and so that they can also create the bullshit job, non-needed job of daycare where Haitian women can beat your white children.
Right.
Not in
Yep.
my backyard. I'll be
Yeah.
damned.
But no, but
Yeah,
so there
no,
is a purpose,
absolutely.
by the way. So it's not like this is the thing. He doesn't understand there's a systemic critique he's not making, which is that the purpose of something is what it does. You know, it's not, he's going, why are these idiots doing this job, these bullshit jobs? It's so stupid that we would be doing. No, idiot. It's purposely like that because the end result is what we have. The end result is what the desired result was.
Hmm.
He
Absolutely.
might have gotten around to
Yeah,
that.
maybe he would have, but maybe he knew and said, maybe this implicates my cousins a bit too much. But the other thing, so he is an advocate for the UBI, the actual like the concept, the Andrew Yang version of UBI.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just kind of interesting to me that, you know, or he moreover talks about the modern monetary theory, which we can go a little more into, and if you want, I actually, Dalton, to answer your question, you were saying before, it's like to explain the whole thing. I actually did a pretty cogent explanation on our Substack page. I did about an hour and a half presentation of how modern monetary theory and just deficit spending works and how it affects the economy. And it is comprehensible to anybody. It just needs to be said. They intentionally do not teach you these things because it leads you to places that they don't want you to go. Um, but
We
we can get
will
to that in a minute.
we will link that
I will
episode
link it in this
in
episode. I
the
will link that
description.
episode. Yes, I will. And the other thing I wanted to say is that it's really interesting that he talks about this deficit spending and modern monetary theory. And you know, I don't know if you know this. He didn't mention this country at all, but Dalton, I don't know if you knew this, but there was a minor experiment in the sort of economics that he's talking about that he didn't mention at all. Can you guess what that was? There's a country that they set up a government ran bank that issued its own currency that was like just printed out of nothing really, but it was printed on the sort of confidence that this country would get things done and therefore and it would lead to future growth and potential. And this currency led the country to like
Yes, Scott, the company.
a like something of a golden age for a few years there. And you know, the guy who's in charge of the country became Time Man of the Year. Can you guess what country it was?
I have a guess. I have a guess. Is it Burkina Faso?
No, it was Biafra. Sorry, close but no cigar.
Damn.
But yeah, so yeah,
I
this
got
whole like
plenty of
fucking
cigars.
deficit spending thing based on nothing but just going, oh, I want to make the people in the country have a better standard of living, and I will even sacrifice potential profit. I will the country will stand between a step between the previous middleman banker and actually issue the currency directly to the people. Yeah, they tried that, and they in two world superpowers that have nothing in common and are ideological enemies got together just this one time to crush this country.
In a world.
In a world where communists and capitalists are shaking hands and hating one guy.
So, yeah, Biafra. Have we done an
I don't know. It's
episode?
sorry, I shouldn't say Biafra. It's what the fuck is what's that with the episode we did about the African guy? What's that guy's name? Idi Amin. It's Idi
Ah,
Amin, by the way, is the real answer.
oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yee. Um, so the whole
He just steps over the entire 20th century, basically, though.
I noticed that. It started right at Nixon. It's like
Yeah.
this guy, him. Um,
This guy that everybody hates is honestly unfairly maligned by everybody.
Nixon, you know,
You know, in
right?
1996, Dalton, there was an article in the New York Times called "Richard Milhouse Nixon, the last liberal president."
There it is.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and did you know that he had proposed as a policy that he wanted to have a single-payer health care program?
I did not know
It
that.
was shut down by the Congress. He did not have the support in Congress to push that through, and so they talked him into I forget what it's called, but the system that we have with the the your employer pays it. That's where that comes from. And he viewed it
Perfect.
as like a he viewed it as like a compromise between what he wanted, which was the single payer healthcare system, and what his constituency wanted, which was just free market healthcare.
Mm.
But
Didn't account for the fact that it would become like a major bargaining chip against the employee when out
yeah.
on the hunt for a job because
It's the
God forbid they get
absolute
sick.
worst possible solution that they could have come up with.
Yeah,
It's
actually leaving
terrible.
it completely free market was better. I don't know if you've heard the anecdotes from Ron Paul, but
Amen.
Ron Paul used to be a cash only doctor in rural
Amen, man.
Texas
That's
where he's
sick.
from. And if you didn't have enough money, he was just like, okay, that's fine.
What do you got? $12? All
Whatever
right,
you got, I'll take.
give me
Yeah.
six. It's
A
fine.
bag of chestnuts.
I mean,
Give
that's the only
me
way Ron Paul was able to get elected, by the way, is because literally his entire constituency had been hand delivered by him.
no
Like
shit.
literally, he was an OBGYN and like literally
Wow.
his entire constituency had been delivered by him.
Wow.
Okay,
That
so that's actually one way that libertarianism can work
that's
is become a doctor
Yeah.
and then get birth all of
wild.
the voters.
Yeah.
You just gotta convince a bunch of people to get
I will,
together
I
and
don't
have
know that I would
loving
trust
relations.
libertarians around babies though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They'll put them to work or
All right.
worse.
I don't know how many of them are smart enough to even become doctors. They're barely smart enough to be podcasters, and that seems to be the only job they're
Damn,
qualified to do.
my heart.
That reminds me. I love how, by the way, Dave Smith didn't lose all of his credibility in the libertarian
Oh.
sphere, even though he fucking came out and endorsed Trump. I was the only motherfucker saying that this is you guys are gonna fall for it again. By
Mm.
the
Oh
way,
no, we me and all the group chats I'm in and on our podcast, we were all saying that same shit. We were all just like, how can anyone like how could he still have any support as like this libertarian philosopher or whatever he bills himself at? Comic Dave Smith.
the comic
Yeah.
Dave Smith,
After
yeah.
he like full-throatedly endorses Trump as like the closest we're gonna get to since no libertarian candidate ever has a fucking chance, I'll just go ahead and say Trump. Like when he did that, I was like, well, doesn't this like completely negate everything he's about anyway? Like, you know,
No, because I'll tell you what,
do
he's
people forget? I guess nobody has any fucking short-term or long-term memory. Did everybody just forget that he was already president, like, and how that went and
I
what his
mean, listen,
policies were?
dude.
Like, how I don't understand how like a guy who the entire platform of his whole being, his whole ideology is like anti-war, right?
Yep.
Did you just fucking forget the 4 years that he was already president and also everything he said he was going to do
I
during his
have
campaign?
I have no recommendation of that. It must have been some other guy.
You have no recommendation.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, the Dave Smith, nice guy, friend of the show. No, I mean yeah, I
Hey, come
don't.
on.
All of these guys are like
Dave
being
Smith tells
exposed.
people not to talk to me.
Really,
Yes.
it's like well, because the thing is with him and so many of these fucking libertarian guys who have these big platforms, it's obvious that like what they care about more than anything is their fucking egos and their own paychecks, and so it's like what frustrates me now is all of these fucking guys like that are being outed. It's like it's now they've been exposed as like complete stooges, just absolute fucking jackasses, if not willing participants in
Willing
what's happening
participants.
now.
Just got to make that clear, first of all. He's got a handler named Gene Epstein, by the way, Dave Smith. And yeah, he's kept on page with what he's supposed to be doing. He's an operative of maybe not his design, but he's being utilized in such a manner as like a de-radicalization chamber for people who are at most risk of becoming anti-Semitic.
Right. Well, I know I guess we had a topic. We might be getting off topic now. But did you ever see that segment it's hard to get through the entire thing because it's so fucking long. But the hypernormalization, the Adam Curtis documentary,
Seen the whole. I've seen everything by Adam Curtis. Love Adam
that
Curtis.
whole segment about the Putin's what was it? His like executive, his vice prime minister or whatever.
Medvedev.
The guy who would just like take all the Kremlin money and use it to fund like everything, like pro Putin, anti Putin, Nazis, liberals, all of it, to just create this like obfuscation of the truth, to where the entire like populace was in a constant state of hysteria and confusion, so that Putin could just like grow in power and do whatever he wants. And so it's like if that's the blueprint, like if you understand that that's what's
Well,
happening.
that's the thing. Putin is copying off our homework, though. That's the other thing that you don't understand
I
is that
suppose so.
we fucking invented that. What do you think the entire
Saying it
70s
first.
radical hippie movement, fucking Weather Underground was? That was funded and created by the FBI, what have you. That all that shit, all the fucking dude, they fund literally Adam Waffen. You ever heard of Adam Waffen before? That's a far right
You know what's funny
Nazi
is I
group.
just saw that word for the first time
Yeah, it's
like
a
a week ago.
satanic Nazi
You've been
group that
cursed.
was
No.
funded, and like literally they had a music video made that like literally they got reimbursed by this fucking Justice Department in order
Oh,
to
so that okay, so because yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter say that about Elmo after Elmo got hacked and was tweeting
oh
all
he's
that anti-Semitic shit. They were like, Adam Waffen Elmo. Okay,
Elmo Waffen, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
But yeah,
but
no, so and then it goes
so
further back than that too. I mean, like literally all like fucking Anton LaVey is a is was the guy who created the Church of Satan. He was palling around, and by the way, actually fucking Graeber brought this up. Palling around with the guy who invented the fucking rocket engine for NASA.
oh, Werner von Braun.
No, Jack Parsons, but they
Oh,
were on the
right.
same team. But yeah,
Yeah.
but he's a Thelemite, meaning he's a advocate or a devotee of Aleister
Alistair.
Crowley. This
Yeah,
guy's
real
just in the
swell guy.
Department of Defense. Yeah, great people, some of
Mhm.
the best, I'm told.
Yeah,
But
all the
yeah, so
best
it's just
people.
a long. I mean, the whole fucking counterculture movement was also just
Well,
fun.
I
It's a
guess it's like
crazy train.
understanding that pretty much everything is an op. I
Yes,
guess like if you can understand that whether it's the CIA or Mossad or the Kremlin or whatever, there's a good chance that anyone who has like any sort of a following or big platform is probably either directly or indirectly being funded by,
yes,
you know, some sort of entity that has like an
intelligence. Yeah.
interest in doing something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's almost no genuine culture that comes forth out of like the actual. And you'll notice, by the way, people comment on this all the time. They're like, "What happened to movies? What happened to TV?
Mm.
What do you think?" They fucking now it started
They
out
blew it up.
in the 60s when culture was becoming pop culture, mass pop culture. It was the first generation of this astroturf culture, and then those people's nephews got the job, and they're not as good as it as the first people. And
Yeah.
then the next
Yeah.
generation down, they also aren't as good at it. And yeah, it's just fake. It's completely a contrived
Mhm.
subcultures, cultures. And if there's any sort of genuine expression of creativity or culture that comes out of like the biomass of the country, they just immediately co-opt it and put their people in front of it. Um, yeah.
It is unfortunate that
Damn, dude.
yeah, yeah.
All
But
attempts to
they
subvert the
blew it up.
system are subsumed by the system,
Mm.
Yeah.
you
But
know.
we'll be okay. That's the thing I know.
I mean,
Um,
it's I guess like in that lecture I watched or whatever it was. I don't know if it was a debate or what. That thing you sent me where it was.
The Peter Thiel one, yeah.
I wonder when that was when that happened because it was Peter Thiel and David Graeber
6 years
and
ago, I think.
well the video said it was 5 years ago, but I feel like
It was a
because the way
little
they
older
were
than that.
talking, like at one point Peter Thiel was like, Yeah, one of my guys at PayPal, this guy Elon, and I was like, yeah, I know him. I've heard of him. I wonder how far back that was that, Elon was like a relatively unknown figure.
True.
Um, but
I think
one,
it was when he was probably popular with Reddit still.
yeah, he was like, because Elon had a cameo in Iron Man 2, and so
That's funny.
he
I
was
didn't
like
know
a
that.
liberal folk hero for a while.
Yeah, he was king of Reddit, elected king of Reddit.
Yeah, he very much like I don't know what he is now because he's like
Gay.
gay. But Elon has like broken away from MAGA and is now trying to establish, I
The
guess,
Indian American Party.
the America Party. So
The Indian
I,
American
Ah,
Party,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
it's so crazy how you see these like I guess psyops, whatever you want to call them. They recur and repeat themselves. Like history doesn't repeat itself; it rhymes
Hmm.
because it's like so what you just like you're gonna do the Tea Party again? Like
I
you
think
see.
he's like genuinely retarded, by the way. I think Elon Musk is like maybe has 110 IQ and is just like a nepo baby. I mean, like his dad is like a billionaire emerald. I literally had like a guy I work with go like the other day, like, oh, I think he's kind of like a genius. After all, he was able to start this car company that's I'm like, no. I'm like, that does not have any sort of like was Edsel Ford a genius? Was
Yeah,
Edsel Ford a genius? I
I
mean,
don't
like,
know. I don't know what Elon's acumen actually is because like maybe he is the brain. Like he doesn't seem to have any idea of how to conduct himself.
nope. People
Like
who
as
left his
far
companies go, oh, we basically let him think he's doing stuff and he's not.
Holy shit.
yeah, like as far as like optics go, like which is so much of like business and you know I guess like how you like engage with like furthering your own endeavors is just
Mm,
optics. It's just like, being able to speak and interact with other people, rub elbows. He's astoundingly bad at it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like everybody just laughs at him.
yeah.
He
Turbosberg.
yeah, he
And
has no clue. He's not funny. He's not good at like being witty or telling jokes. Like he has like zero redeeming qualities. And it doesn't seem like he also knows how to do the things he wants to do. Like every other week, one of these fucking spaceships, these billion-dollar fucking rockets blows up. Which it's like, look, granted, I don't know rocket science. Therefore, I'm not a rocket scientist.
Me
So I don't
neither.
understand how it
I know you
works.
can't get. I can't. You can't
I don't know.
get to outer space because there's a big glass dome.
Yeah, right. There's a
But
big, yeah, like in the Simpsons movie, there's a big dome over the country, and that's why. But
But Dalton, they are handing out these degrees. I think you could give it a shot.
it just seems to me like Elon has like blown up maybe too many spaceships. Like he's too many of these SpaceX launches have exploded. That makes me
you think he's
suspicious.
paying for that? Literally, the taxpayer is fucking paying
No,
for
he's
that.
yeah, and now that's the tension between him and Trump. Is Trump is like, well, how about I just like take away all your government subsidy? You can't fucking do shit without us.
Yeah.
And that's why Elon is like, well, I'll just start the America Party, and
No.
whatever he's talking
It'll
about.
be epic bacon narwhal.
Yeah, I do. It
This
is kind of charming that he's stuck in like Parks and Recreation
the
era.
2009
Yeah,
guy.
he's
Like,
stuck in like that version of the internet.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
like the
without
like Doge itself, like the whole concept of Doge. It's like the fucking dog meme
yeah.
from
Wow. Such Indian, much Zionism.
yeah,
Wow.
and it did. By the way. But I bought into it because I thought like at least like the whole Doge thing would move the needle on the meme coin. It fucking did. It didn't even.
I'm up a little bit right now.
I sold and I made like 150 bucks on it.
Yeah,
But
I'm up like 30 bucks.
it didn't skyrocket. Like it
No, it
didn't.
never will.
No. No, yeah. I look. Trust me. I'm in the trenches. I know all about meme coins now. Doge is not. Doge might do well at some point, but No, you got to get in on bonk is the big one now.
Okay, this is not financial
The
advice.
bonk
Don't necessarily buy anything, guys. Take
This
care
is not
of your
the
financial
fucking.
bonk
advice.
ecosystem is thriving right now.
What is it? It's you get a coin every time you see a hot girl. You go bonk.
yeah, the horny bonk. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, we don't have to get in. Well, honestly, a lot of what got me interested in all this money talk when I started going down this rabbit hole with David Graeber is like basically, I guess, like the memification of money. How
Mm,
even at, I guess, like even coinage itself, like money, it kind of exists as memes anyway.
yes, very much so.
Like the idea of money, like what gives it value is like, well, even gold and silver and coins clipped and unclipped are valuable because like enough people have agreed that they are. Like enough people got together and they go, silver futures are now $40 a share.
To be fair,
And-
silver futures and the quality of a coin is two different things, but
well, you know what I mean? Like like coins, stocks, all the financials, all of it is like this because like I mean what is like the actual definition of a meme? Like the Richard Dawkins definition,
it's a
like
packet of information that passes via language.
right. So like when you think about like if you have like a dollar bill in your wallet, that it functions as like a meme where it's like this picture of George Washington is valuable. Like it has like some sort of substance to it because we've all like decided it
It's got
does.
Masonic rituals inscribed upon it.
Yeah, Masonic rituals and the Illuminati and there's the pyramid with the Eye of Ra, all of it. And so like now when you're seeing these new systems of currency develop via crypto and then also meme coins, it's like, well, this is like it's new in that it's like I guess like a new method, like a new way of creating currency, but is the same as what we've always been doing. Like there's fundamentally no difference between like a stock or a meme coin or a dollar bill or a 0.0001 bitcoins. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Um,
Sure.
I guess it's because like they're I guess the people that created the system, we created it, and then we all agreed to it.
They already here's the thing you got to also. I mentioned before that the Grover Cleveland 18 Panic of 1893. There was a crisis over what was called the bimetallism crisis, where bimetallism was a concept that populists, particularly farmers, felt that having two coins, two types of money that were based off of not just hard gold currency but also silver, which would in effect not double but massively inflate the money supply, um, would benefit farmers particularly because it would create inflation uh, for particularly things like food, which are not produced by the city. So these people, they viewed it as unfair because most of the products that people out in the sticks were producing were stuff that like people like hard durable goods and stuff that people in the state like people farmers and stuff would need to get, but every year there would be new ways that the food would be created in a cheaper way. So basically, they were watching the, like a fixed income like shrink away
Mhm.
essentially. And also the other thing was deflation was going on for a bunch of different reasons I'm not going to go into right now, but it has to do with the end of the Civil War. Um, the other thing, so the idea would be like if they inflated the money, the prices of things like food would go up, and therefore there would be money flowing outward towards rural people. And so the problem was is that they did this Silver Act in the 1880s, I believe, because they found a shitload of silver in Nevada. And that's actually why Nevada is a state. That's a whole other conversation we're not going to get into right now.
So
But
Silver City, Silver.
yeah. But so basically what happened though was there was an artificially created debt crisis the in Europe actually. And I also want to point out here that all banks at the time were owned by the Rothschilds in Europe at the time, or cousins of the Rothschilds.
The
They're all
Balfour.
heavy associated. That's later, actually. We could talk about that a bit if
You
you
know more
want,
about
but
this. I know what I've seen from Groiper memes.
oh, it's a serious point of study for me.
I
I know.
did an AI TikTok I saw of Stewie Griffin explaining the Balfour Agreement.
While Minecraft footage played.
Yes, oh
That's
yeah,
sick. Yeah.
yeah.
Sick, sick. But yeah,
Those are
so
good.
yeah, maybe that's how I'll go viral is I'll just play Minecraft while I'm explaining this stuff. But yeah, so but what happened was in the Panic of 1893, the I don't want to get into the crunchy numbers of it, but basically the United States had overinvested in overseas stuff on the but basically the government wasn't going to be able to make its. By the way, your boomer relative said they never made a our commenter on Twitter. They never missed a payment. They almost did. In fact, they literally had to have J.P. Morgan individually buy the entire American economy on behalf of the Rothschilds, and that's where all the money, like all this gold, went into private hands after that. Like the entire treasury got wiped out by that essentially, and at that point, like
Oh,
now
so
that
you think that that's where all the gold in Fort Knox went? Because
oh, this is before that, but yeah.
remember when they were going to audit Fort Knox, like Doge was going to go find out how much gold is there, and then we just never heard about it again.
Yeah, because it hasn't been owned by American hands in for a long, 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 long time, but not that long ago. But the point is, they've done this multiple fucking times. So yeah, they did steal all the money in Golden Ox, and it wasn't because they irradiated it. By the way, as much as I would love that to have been it, but the yeah. So the point is that so Graeber's kind of right, but also they couldn't have done what they did with if not all of the banks in the world already held by a loose confederation of Zionist technocrats. It couldn't have happened. It couldn't have happened if not for there already having been completed an entire global system of financial control where they issued all the currencies of every country. So that's the thing, and then there's no mention of that. It's I listen. I again, the anthropology is fucking spot on. I do wanted to talk a little bit about specifically the book. I don't know if he covered this in his lectures, but one of the things I thought was interesting was he talks about the Middle Ages, and he talks about how in the countries that were like very influenced by so okay Confucianism in China in the Middle Ages, actually before the Middle Ages even, but Confucianism took hold, and Confucianism is explicitly geared towards keeping power away from the merchant class. And explicitly, it's intended to keep power centralized within the government. I don't know if you ever looked into it at all, but basically, there's this entire class of people called mandarins who are they're studied in like the tenets of Confucianism, and you have to like your entire village has to raise money so that you can take an exam to prove that you're learned in Confucianism, so you can then be a mandarin for the government. And it meant usually that you're like a eunuch, you didn't get to have a family or nothing, but it meant honor for your family and riches
Right.
back to
So
to your
this is
entire village
China before communism.
way before communism, like in
Okay,
BC
so
times.
this
Yeah,
is Shin Yun,
yeah, yeah.
the
That's
Falun
the
Gong.
CIA. Yeah, the
Yeah,
CIA. Yeah. But yeah. So basically, the reason why there weren't as many drastic, it was one of the most stable places, other than like invasions from the Mongols and shit. It was one of the most stable places for like having cultural conformity for 2,000 fucking years. There was like not much change happening at all. They invented all their shit in BC, and they still using the same shit when the British were fighting them in the 1800s. So that was, but it, and you'll note that also the other thing was that Buddhism has intrinsically has debt baked into the theology of it. So one of the things about it is like when you're born, you owe a debt to to the gods if you're a
yeah,
Buddhist. So
yeah.
and
Like
also
paying that debt is like getting married and having a kid.
That is a loose, that's a good interpretation. That would be like a lawful good interpretation. But at the time, a lot of people were like, no, we need to literally get money so we can put it into Buddha statues
Oh,
and honor Buddha. Like literally,
I because
quite
I heard
literally
Graeber
money.
talk about this that he said like the debt that you pay is like by living a good life and then
That's like the
getting married.
modern interpretation of it. But back in ancient times or medieval times, they were like, no, we literally got to get, we literally, the fucking temple, the Buddhist temples became banks. They literally would take money in deposits and they would put like a thing on the wall to be like, thanks to so and so for honoring her family and giving this much money to the
Yeah,
temple. And then they
I've
took
noticed
that
that
money and
like
then lent it out to other people so they could make more money and get interest on that money and then put that into big giant Buddha statues.
yeah I've noticed like Chinese culture is very like even like within like the spirituality of China's Chinaman is like
Chinese. I think the preferred nomenclature is Chinese.
yeah is like this idea of like money and finance and like you're I guess like you're standing with the gods or these higher powers is like determines your finances because like dude I recently got fired from Comcast but when I worked there I would get calls from like Chinese ladies a lot who either had didn't speak English that well or just did not speak English at all but I
Hmm.
remember I got like a few calls where they wanted to change their phone number because it was a financially unlucky number. It was
Based.
like this is
Based
Oh
in superstition pilled.
yeah.
yes, yeah, but their superstition, like it seems like all of their shit is rooted in because at least here we have the facade of money isn't everything, and Jesus himself had no money, right?
Hmm.
It seems like in China, it's like no, actually, money is not only is it not only is it like the most important thing,
Dope.
it's literally everything. And so we got to get the triple eight, 888, and then they have like all these numbers that are lucky and unlucky, like so much more than we do. So
Yeah.
I didn't know this about like the Middle Ages of China.
Yeah, no, I didn't know anything about what you're talking about. I don't doubt it in the least. I'd never heard anything about that lucky shit, but yeah, apparently the Confucianism was like a bulwark against over credit extension, and ergo there was not like an issue as much for like the history of Europe and the history of many other places is wrought with these continual fucking debt crises that end in bloodshed often. But China wasn't as bad with it. Now, the other thing he covered was the Middle East. So everyone knows, well, not everyone knows, actually, most people probably don't know, but I've always known that the Middle Ages in the Middle East was the fucking place to be. There was they called it the Islamic Golden Age, and Graeber really poignantly points out why this happened, which is because of the fact that there is an explicit ban on usury, the i.e. the charging of interest on financial transactions in the religion of Islam. Now, there's also one in Christianity. However, in Europe, and we'll get to Europe in a moment, I want to talk a little bit about Islam for a minute. But in Europe, though, the church did not take a central role. They took a back seat in enforcing this to the sovereign state, and this is a big, consistent problem that Graeber identifies is that the state becomes an issue, which is why he's an anarchist. But I'll get to Europe in a minute. I want to finish talking about Islam. So during the Islamic Golden Age, um, this practice, which still exists to this day, by the way, in the Islamic world, is this idea that it's called adventure marketing or market adventurism. Market adventurism, that's what it's called. And
They have adventure capitalists.
yes, adventure capitalism.
Yeah,
Yeah. But no, basically the idea is like because there's no interest, every time that somebody invests in something in the Islamic world, it's for a stake in the company and the future profit promise. Like so they will actually divide up the amount that this other person put into it and go, okay, I will assign an agreement based on The fact that you trust me, usually because I have a family
Hmm.
member or something, somebody vouch for me to say I'm a good guy and I'm gonna follow through on my plan.
Oh,
And
well, this is just venture capitalism.
it is, but it's not, there's no interest. And so as a result, the people, the venture capitalism in America, they have no interest in seeing your thing fail or succeed. In fact, they probably prefer that you fail because then you just owe them a bunch of money. In
Mm.
Islam, they have a vested interest in you succeeding because they don't get shit if you fail. They get
Mm.
nothing. They lost their money. So the fact is that even though there was an explicit ban on usury in the Islamic world, they were able to like inject cat liquidity into projects, which allowed for things like an expansion of art, an early renaissance, if you will. They invented a bunch of mathematical concepts that we today to this day use. Literally, the numbers that we use was invented by the Middle Ages by Islam. Um, and there was no debt crises naturally because there was no overextension of debt because there was no profit motive in doing so. Whereas in traditional usury based societies like our own, it's actually more profitable to extend credit to someone who's
Is
not
that
your
why
friend.
we like here in the States, like we have this idea of like Judeo-Christian values, right?
Yeah,
But that like as far as I understand, like Judeo-Christian is just like a word that
it's
was
an oxymoron. Yeah.
yeah, but that also kind of is like something they just came up with pretty
Yeah, it was when
recently.
Israel came out. They came up with that. You can look at
Yeah,
that on the Google Trends. That's where that came out. Yeah.
because really, like really what you're talking about, like with Judeo-Christian would be Abrahamic, which would
Yeah.
also include
Include
Islam,
Islam. Yeah.
which means, that conflicts with,
Ben Shapiro feels about things.
yeah, how Ben Shapiro feels, but also like the systems of usury that we have that
Yeah.
basically is our entire
You can
economy.
blame Calvin for that one, I think. Calvin
Mm.
and also people like Jeremy Bentham and other people like that. Adam Smith, of course. But generally speaking, like English tradition of Puritan, not Puritanism, but more broadly speaking, Protestantism
Mhm.
is the heart of that. And I actually if you're really interested in the birth of that, I recommend the book Makers of the Modern Mind by, I don't remember his name, but I did a whole episode on it, and it sort of traces the path of that sort of ideology all the way back to Martin Luther. But Martin Luther didn't know what he was unleashing either. uh
Okay.
but anyway, yeah, so Islam, I got them. Oh, there was one other little detail about that I wanted to say. Oh, honor, yeah. So they actually had like there's like the idea of having collateral for a loan in our society with interest being at play. Usually it's got to be a fiscal thing of equal value or whatever. But in the Islam world, they would actually they would like literally write. It reminds me of this Nick Mullen. I don't know if it was like a bit, but he said something like they should make abortion legal, but everyone who gets one should have to sign a contract that says I'm going to hell when they do it. But basically, the Islam did that. They were like, okay, I'm going to sign a contract that says I'm a fucking piece of shit if I don't pay this back,
Right.
essentially. And that was enough. Everyone paid their fucking. Some people ended up pieces of shit, I imagine, by the way. I don't think it was a perfect
Of
system or
course.
anything. Some people
But
lost their shirts and ended up being branded forever as a piece of shit.
There's a touch of that here because like take it from me, I know this firsthand that there's certain debts that if you don't pay them back, I guess they will negatively impact your credit score, but ultimately have like no not that much impact on your like day-to-day existence other
Yeah.
than you feel really shitty about it.
mm,
And that seems to be like the driving force of a lot of debt
Don't let the
is just
small
like
hats get you down, Dalton.
I'm no, no. Trust me. And this was something that Peter Thiel actually said in that conversation that he had with
With
Graeber in that
Gravy.
one video, which is that the first step to living as an anarchist is living as though you're free. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm already debt free because I say I am.
It's
And
so
so
true.
Synchrony Bank, you can keep calling me, but I don't owe you anything. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
much of what drives like the debt crisis here in America is just like this sense of like a moral inferiority if you don't pay it back. Like you're a
Yeah.
fucking leech on our society for not paying your debts. And it's like, and this is something that Graeber talked about. Like he's like, well, the banks don't pay their debts.
I know that's the fucking damnedest part. Well, don't be anti-Semitic, David Graeber slash boomer.
Well, but he talks about that a lot in a lot of his lectures.
Yeah.
Is that
He can say it.
yeah?
It's
He's like
different when
he's
we
like
call each other that.
he's like you, me, all of us. We're expected to pay these debts off, and if we don't, it's dishonorable. There's like it's like this morally bad thing to not pay your debts. But he's like the banks and all the like wealthy people, the elites. They're not on the hook for any of that shit.
All the time, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
all he
2009 crisis.
That's what, and that's what he said. He was like, when they concocted this, whatever led to the housing crisis, when the entire fucking economy collapsed, and nobody could pay their mortgages, and now all the banks, that have written these bad loans aren't getting the payments for them. He was like, well, the government could have bailed out the people, and then the people could have caught up on their mortgages and
They
paid those,
wouldn't have.
and that effectively bails out the people and the banks. But what did the government do? They bailed out the banks. The people are still on the hook for those fucking
Yeah.
loans. So now there's only been relief given, like the banks don't have to honor those agreements.
Nope.
The people still do, and we're still living in the fallout of that today. Which
That is such a blip though compared to what they did in 2020, 2021, dude. You have no idea what not even a thing that 2009 printing was. Like they fucking doubled all that money that they printed. They literally times two'd that in 2021.
with what, like those PPP loans?
Yeah, not just that, but just they printed so much fucking money between that and giving money to Ukraine and all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, and you're feeling it. Everybody's feeling it now in these like weird, like sociological ways. Where the question now is like, why aren't young people having fun? Why is
Yeah.
Gen Z?
Well,
Gen
because they're all
Z,
molested is the real answer. But
yes, but it's like Gen Z's not drinking. No one's having fun. Everybody's lonely. What's happening? It's like, yeah, man, because you got like fucking two or three generations of people who are looking at the world around them and going, yeah, I mean, nothing is worth anything, and there's no hope,
Hmm.
and so I'm just gonna doom scroll all day, and I give up.
And
and I was molested.
And I was molested, that
no,
too.
I was not. Um,
I wasn't. I'm just saying most Gen Z kids, I
yeah.
assume, were.
Yeah, because I mean, but yeah, I mean, I was not aware that that was like the extent of the inflation, that we've been feeling, but it's like yeah, the dollar itself is becoming more and more worthless by the day. Like it's decreasing in value. Wages are not going up, and everybody's in debt. And so it's yeah, I mean,
It,
it's
it
weird
really,
because it's like we have all these it's like it's this like technologically advanced world we live in now where I guess we are comfortable much more
Tech
so
is
than
cheap. Tech is super cheap. Dude, you can get like a fucking 57-inch TV for like 120 bucks now.
TVs. Yeah, TVs have scaled with inflation where like I was in a Best Buy recently and I was like, God damn, dude, you can get a fucking 60-inch TV for like $200.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's
it
cool.
used to be.
So it's like this weird thing where the question is always like, would you rather be poor now or a king in like King Henry? Like, would you
I
rather
think I'd
be?
have to be poor now. I mean, I am poor now, so I'm not.
Yeah, so it's like this weird thing where now everybody's fucking broke, but I guess we have this like level of
Air
comfort.
condition's nice.
Yeah, we have this like level of comfort and sort of wealth in a way that's never been seen before, but then also we're feeling like this I don't know, this constant malaise, like the walls are closing in because
Hmm.
of these bizarre fucking economic systems that are in place. that's the frustrating thing about going down this rabbit hole when you start to kind of understand this like where I start like rubbing my head, like, I just get frustrated. I'm like rubbing my head and I can't sleep because I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. Like at the like ultimately when you like start I guess like researching this or listening to any of these lectures or read any of these books, it's like ultimately you go, this is so stupid. This is all
Mhm.
just like some Jews got together and made everything up. They like made up how this is going to work, and now we have to suffer for their fucking bullshit, for this game they
For
created.
their sins, yeah.
It's
Uh,
working pretty well for them.
makes
It's
you.
working really well for them, but it's like, dude, and you're seeing it like compound upon itself day by day. Like it's getting exacerbated as time goes on because now it's like they're like there's all all the talk of like AI now, all these like technological innovations that's gonna nullify. It's gonna remove the necessity for like human labor, and they're talking
I
about
don't
like
think
this is a
so.
great thing, but it's like okay, it would be a great thing if I also didn't have to pay my debts, but
Mm.
you're still you're gonna take away my ability to like work any sort of job, which I need to have to generate the income to pay my debts off but but then all but now there's what do I do? Like what's this, like if you're gonna automate everything, if you're gonna create like it conflicts with this idea of like the
Well,
entire
they're not gonna automate any manual jobs. They're just gonna get Indians to work for cheaper than you. That's what's gonna
maybe yeah
happen.
I guess there's that I just I don't know what the plan I what frustrates me is it's like I guess like you would need to either institute either some form of UBI or just create, I guess, create more bullshit jobs. Just create more, like within all the bureaucracy, more jobs where you just like shuffle paper around that where you just have to clock in for 8 hours a
I think
day.
that's a false dichotomy. I think they'd like us to think that that's the dichotomy that we're in. But the reality is, it's absolutely not true. All you have to do is say no more usury. It's very simple. End private banking forever. No more private banking. It's the government. The government, here's the fact of the matter is they call it a free market, but it's not a free market. It's a dictated market that is dictated by private bankers. The society that they want is shaped by and he talks about this in the book, by the way. He talks about the fact that um our moralities, our social mores are actually handed down to us by bankers. And but he takes it to this place where like, oh, I'm a bad person because I didn't pay my debt back or whatever. I'm like, yes, it is a thing. But also, what other social mores are handed down that are absolutely inimical to human life? Mass immigration. You talk about you talk Graby, you're talking about the fact that you're worried about wages falling. You know what fucking makes wages fall? Mass immigration. If you're talking
Mhm.
about deficit spending in order to give people a better lifestyle. I'm for it, bro. I'm print the fucking money and help out people in trailer parks down the south. I'm fucking with it.
Sure.
But you know why what you can't do is invite everyone in the world to come and take part in that also happening. You
Mhm.
can't. Another thing, who do you think pushed for fag shit? You think fag shit is normal? You think the average person is like, yeah, I want people talking about sex to my kids? Absolutely fucking not. It's an incredibly unpopular thing. But if you speak out too badly about it, the media, which is run by the same people who run the financial institutions, will come at your ass for saying something about it and get you fucking fired. All these things are handed, these social mores are handed down to you by the people who lend us the money that we play around with all day. But David Graeber uh, doesn't acknowledge that because obviously because he is okay with that aspect of the handed down values. Um, but that's a
So
yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead.
like the early one.
doesn't it make you understand the violent reaction to the question, what's money? So what is this shit? You know? Because
Right.
like
Yeah, it
after
literally shapes reality
I
around us.
I kind of felt this right after you said that earlier, Dalton, because I can understand how someone who it just burns, every corner of their lives up. um, doesn't want to think about anything about it other than the fact that they need it,
right
quickly
now.
before their back or their legs or whatever gives out,
Yeah, it's like yeah, for almost everyone, the game that you're like dropped into when you're born is you need money to survive. Now figure out how to get it. It
Yeah.
then like if you
Oh,
try to like think about that in any substantial way, like what is this?
yeah.
It just hurts. It's like,
Oh,
oh, this is
yeah.
so frustrating.
Bullshit. So
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
And
and
purposefully so. It's
yeah, and
arcane
it's
on
like
purpose, and we're not
yeah.
taught a thing about it when we're supposed to be. That is the
Yeah, and
worst
it's like
thing.
if you ever watch like any of the money movies or show, like if you watch like The Big Short or a show like Succession or Billions or any of these things that are about money that try to like you can distill it to you in some way you can kind of understand. It's yeah, it's the same thing where you just go, so wait, it's just guys in suits and fucking skyscrapers having conversations with each other, and now I can't pay my bills.
Hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
it's so it's
Hmm.
so infuriating. Because it's like to what end? Like to what end? Like what do like what is this? Like what are we even working toward?
Like the Kalergi plan. Basically, they want us all to be
Yeah.
one race of sexual degenerates that are completely driven by base impulses and can pose absolutely no threat of ever organizing any sort of armed resistance against them.
Okay,
Fat, homosexual, molested, mentally ill, high on drugs that make us more mentally ill daily.
okay, so
Uh,
Brave New World.
Anxious.
yeah, but
Yeah, because I mean that was another thing that Graeber talked about in a couple of his lectures was like um because he talked about like he grew up in the '60s and but I remember even like experiencing this in the '90s when I was really young this sort of like promise of the like the future, like what the
mhm,
future would look like, where it's like, going to space, flying cars, like
right.
all these like
Mhm.
technological innovations that would happen that would better our lives, Gattaca and cures for all these diseases.
You got to watch that movie again and see what it's really about. Shouts out Wyatt
Yeah.
Stagg.
But you know what I mean? Like, just all these ideas of like how we're gonna make the world, make our lives like exponentially better, and then none of that happened. It's like we didn't get it to where now it's like you feel foolish for ever even thinking about space exploration or the cure for cancer or any of these
Yeah.
things.
Why should we be going to space while anybody's hungry is my question.
I mean,
Hmm.
yes, that is a good
Hmm.
yeah,
Hey,
but
hey.
it's also like, well, why didn't we figure that out? Like why?
Mm.
Like
It's a fugazi.
why have we seen why is it like that
Well,
we haven't
space exploration is not real right now. I don't think. I
sure
think it's literally just a way for them to funnel money into like CIA black ops and then go, it's gonna be going to space, boomers. Aren't you excited about space like in Star
Yeah.
Trek?
You
right
know, it's
yeah but that's what I'm saying though is like that was like the what all the great minds were thinking about for a long time was like we're gonna do this and that and everything's gonna get awesome and then but then none of it happened and now everybody's black pilled where it's stupid to even think that anything's gonna get better and it does yeah I guess it does beg the question like okay so what are we even working toward like what is the goal for humanity maybe it is yeah becoming fat gay retarded and raped and
That's one path. We're not
and
set in stone yet.
but they yeah I
certainly
mean
not.
but see yeah maybe it is the ultimate conspiracy like the ultimate goal is to make everybody gay and black pilled and establish like I guess like what another economist has talked about the Giannis Varoufakis
Oh
the
yeah, I've heard of him.
like
Gesundheit.
techno feudalism where it's like all the technological innovations are not for the betterment of mankind.
Mhm.
It's really to establish like a new form of feudalism where the warlords and dukes and kings are guys like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen,
Mhm.
and we are all going to exist as the permanent serf class under them. So it does seem like that's probably what's happening.
I think that's a little too pessimistic because I think that AI has limits that, like the way that people in the media talk about AI, how it's like this limitless thing that's going to replace all labor and creativity. I simply don't think that's I don't think it's feasible. And I also think that there's just other. I just don't think I don't see that as feasible because the way AI works is it just echoes back to you when you want to hear it.
Right.
So it'll
It's
never create anything.
right now it's just LLMs. It's just like what's the word? There's AGI, which is what they're trying to
That's
figure out how to
I
do,
don't think they'll ever figure that out.
and then there's what ASI,
Simulated intelligence, yeah.
artificial specific intelligence, I think, where it's
Okay.
yeah, where it's like ChatGPT is just it just has access to all these things on the internet,
Right.
and then
By the
like
way,
if
I'm pro. I'm not pro. I wouldn't say I'm pro, but I'm AI neutral. I utilize AI frequently on the
it has
show.
its benefits, like if you just got fired and you need to write a new resume, it's good for that. Um, yeah, so it's not like all the technological innovations are evil or bad. It does seem like the priorities for a lot of things are more interested in like further extraction of capital than actually making a better world for ourselves. And
For
it
sure.
seems to all be rooted in these same like monetary systems where the guy who has the most dollars is the winner.
Yeah. But do you really think Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world, or do you
No,
think the real richest guy in the world is not on the list?
the real richest guys in the world are giving instructions to Elon. Yeah, it's
Right.
these guys who exist like off grid, like, probably like Saudi oil magnates or
Yeah. Jacob
whoever.
Rothschild.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works. Like when they talk about like Elon Musk net worth and he's the richest guy, I'm like I guess like at that point I don't even understand the game they're playing because I'm
Well, I
so
think the reason why he's really intent on getting people to think he's the richest guy in the world is because people are dumb and investors are dumb and the market is like intrinsically dumb. And like everything he does is what we call an IPO scam. Basically every time he has a new company, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna get a bunch of investors like look at the stock ticker for the Boring Company. Do you remember the Boring Company? Or remember
yeah.
what it?
That was like his the tunnels.
Yeah. And so basically he was like, "Oh yeah, everybody, it's me, Elon Musk. I'm going to make another company. Um check out my company where we dig tunnels." And so basically like he was this on a hot streak from being on Joe Rogan or whatever, and a bunch of boomers in hedge funds were like, "Oh, that sounds good. He seems like he's a good guy." So they put a bunch of money into it, and then he takes that initial injection of cash and then filters it out into other investments that are actually safe. And the company does whatever it does. It's probably a skeleton crew now. I'd like to know what it's up to. Probably not a lot. Um,
Didn't they built some like highway underneath Las Vegas that sucks?
I would imagine that it had a lot to do with like he probably made an agreement with the state of Nevada where he would get a big injection. So this is what DeLorean did too, by the way. Got a government loan and then goes, "Oh, look, it's a company that has a lot of income from the state of Nevada."
The
And so then
the
investors
American
go,
state
"Oh,
of
like
Ireland.
yeah, and then the investors go like, "Oh, it's clearly gonna be a good investment," and then this is all flim flam shit. They just take away all the liquid capital and they have it run, and then maybe it loses a little bit. Eventually, they get rolled up into some sort of conglomerate, Elon Musk Industries, and then he can dispose of whatever assets it has. And it was all paid for by investors at one point, and everyone forgot about the Boring Company because we're an information overload.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. That's actually yes, that is what's happening also.
Information
Just
overload.
the
Yeah, it's a term coined by I can't remember the name of the author, but it's a book called Future Shock. and this
Alvin Toffler.
Alvin, yeah,
Yeah,
Alvin Toffler.
there you go.
But yeah, but basically the 1980s they did something called the Psy War paper, which was by Michael Aquino and this other guy who's in the policy industry, whatever the fucking that conservative think tank is. But regardless, Michael Aquino is. You ever hear of the Colonel from the Franklin scandal?
Oh no.
The current like Sanders?
Yes,
Yeah, that's where all
exactly.
the chicken comes from. Chicken hawks. No, you remember the Franklin scandal? I'm
Yeah,
sure.
where they found out like all the kids in Nebraska were getting molested.
Yeah, and then remember there's that guy who's like, yeah, I kidnapped Johnny fucking what's his name? Johnny Gosh. And I took him to go live in this cage in a basement in this guy who I called the Colonel's house.
Oh, Paul Valet. I knew it was something French.
Paul, you mean it's Paul?
Valley?
No, it's Paul. It's not Valley. It's
I wonder. That's another thing I wonder about is like obviously the
Paul Bonacci is the name of the guy.
Oh no, I thought I meant the
Oh, the other
co-author of the
Colonel guy.
Cywar.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry.
Paul Bonacci co-authored the Cywar paper?
yeah, but I do wonder like obviously Trump is backpedaling on this whole Epstein thing because it would it would not only implicate him but like pretty much everybody.
Yeah, well, Israel, more importantly.
Yeah, but it would. But I wonder, given what we're talking, like the whole this idea of like information overload, like just the sheer amount of stimuli that everybody is flooded with every day,
Yep.
that just puts us all into like this constant state of like I guess psychosis, pretty much.
Yes.
But I do wonder because I had this thought that if they ever release that information and the people who are involved in entities and organizations, like maybe they don't want it getting out because it would cause like this um it would like deterioration of like the fabric of society. Everybody would see now would have definitive proof that both sides are indeed the same, you know. But then
Hmm.
also I wonder if they release it, if like a week later we would forget about it. It's probably more likely that it would everybody would be implicated, and we would have the truth finally, and then like
I think you're right.
a week later, Pedro Pascal was seen at
I don't even know who that is.
a Beyonce concert, and now that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, no,
You
Yeah,
know
I
who
think you're right
Pedro
about that.
Pascal is?
do
He's
with the
the hottest
information.
thing in Hollywood right now.
I don't watch
He's
Goy
that effeminate Chilean twink who's getting cast and everything. He was in Last of Us and Mandalorian. He's Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four movie.
I don't know any of these things. Well, I
Yeah,
know
a
what
lot
Fantastic
of people
Four
hate him.
is. I just didn't know that.
I actually think he's a pretty good actor. Actually, I kind of like him. He's sort of like a if you're jonesing for Oscar Isaac, you got Pedro Pascal as your methadone.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm like severely skitsed out, so I can't like watch a movie without going like, all right, this symbolizes that. And I can't even enjoy
Well,
media
you know what's
anymore,
funny?
dude. Like,
He's actually in this new movie that looks like it's like the first movie that's really trying to tackle what happened between 2020 and now, as far
mm,
as like COVID and just like the way reality has been altered.
shifted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the new Ari Aster movie, Eddington.
Oh yeah,
And
I haven't seen. I'll probably watch it. I've seen all of that guy's movies.
everything I've seen people's I haven't seen it yet, but everything I've seen people say about it is they're saying it's the most like noided conspiracy brain movie that's come out within the last like decade. Like somebody described it as what if Connor O'Malley's Pipe Rock Theory video was No Country for Old Men?
All right, I'll watch it. I mean, I liked. Did you see Beau is Afraid, or as I like to call it, Jewish Mother Simulator?
I have not seen it, but I've heard that same thing about it. That it's like Ari Aster just
Talks
uh,
about how he hates his mom and.
expressing like whatever weird Jewish mother shit he has going on.
Mhm. I in spite of myself, liked it.
I do. I yeah.
It was
I need to
cathartic.
watch it because I've enjoyed his first two Hollywood movies, Hereditary and Midsommar. I thought the strange thing is about the Johnsons, that student film he made
I
is
love that movie, dude. That's
disgusting.
so fucking hilarious. I know it's supposed to be a serious. I get what the point he's trying to make is like, oh, wouldn't it be so silly if it was this? But it's the reality is it's actually girls who have to deal with this. I get it. It's too fun. So, do you know what the Patrick? Do you know what the strange thing about the Johnsons is?
Yes, I do, but you should
Why don't you tell
explain
the people
for.
what it's about? Yeah.
Oh man, put that to
Such a
me.
like, what if Rotten.com was a movie? Is it, you
It's
know
a
what I mean?
movie about it's about incest, but it's a in subversion, a very on brand subversion of the tropes you usually see within an incest story. And instead of the father perhaps molesting a young female in his family, it's the son is sexually abusing his own father.
Yeah,
And they're black. I forgot. Yeah.
yeah. It's like, what if Laura Palmer was the one raping Leland Palmer and they were black?
And they were black. And no, it's
It,
also no
That would have been
worse
and it's
because they're
also
gay. It's
gay.
gay too, actually too.
Yeah,
So it's like the
Twink
absolute
Peaks.
yeah,
There
Twin
you
yeah.
go.
Peaks.
It's
There you go.
basically like, yeah, it's basically the plot of Twin Peaks, but the roles are reversed and it's gay and they're black.
Maximum funny factors.
Yeah.
Um,
But it
but
handles, but he does it with zero subtlety or nuance or ambiguity. That to me, like when I was watching it, I was like, I can appreciate this for like how shocking and edgelordy this is, but this is so fucking
No,
gross.
I actually I'll defend it. By the way, I think this is a gay point to make, and it's been made to death. But the point he's trying to make is we always sort of just go, oh, he's playing with tropes. He's in subverting the trope that it's usually a male molesting a younger child, female often, and
mhm.
it's going. Let's make this even more uncomfortable and also sort of make you really think about the power dynamics at play here. I get what he's trying to do, and it's a gay
I thought
libtard.
he was better. He was better at subversion with Hereditary, where he was like kind of subverting the what they call elevated horror trope of it's actually depression that's the
Yeah.
spooky monster. Where there was that, but it was very explicitly also the devil.
Yes. Well, it's a nice M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. Yes.
Yeah, and by a really effective twist because I truly did not see that coming.
Yeah, I like
Like
that. That's a good
by the time
movie.
you get to the end and it's like a satanic cult, I was like, did I miss something?
No, but all the
Oh
pieces
yeah,
were there the whole
it's
time.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go back, you see it, but the first time I watched it, I was like, "Hold on, did I like fall asleep or like what did I miss?" 'Cause I did
Did I
not
sit on
see
the
this
remote?
coming.
Yeah, no, that's the one Ari Aster movie I will praise, like endlessly is Hereditary. Midsummer, I did not care for.
Midsummer's a bit long.
Midsummer. Well, it's also
So
just like a whole thing.
Eddington.
It's like it's a meditation on like the original sin of whiteness and all this other fucking typical Ari Aster shit. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's another episode, another day. Dalton, thank you for
Eddington too.
joining us, and thank you for talking. Thank you for coming here to celebrate the life of David Graeber. His friends called him Graby.
Yeah. Well, you asked me what I've been obsessed with lately. Now it's that and meme coins, so I figured that this would be a better topic.
I can chit chat about meme coins. It's not
Well,
it's
it's
a little too volatile for my
it
liking.
runs a little parallel to the whole
True.
concept of like money and debt and all that because it's like what's emerging from it is pretty interesting, which I've seen some people remark on as PBA, pure belief assets, which
Mm,
is happening kind of. I saw that Robinhood is going to list Fartcoin on
based.
its exchange. So these assets are being created whole cloth out of thin air, these meme coins, and enough people are buying into them that like meme coins like Fartcoin and SPX 6900 and all these are like outperforming the entire history of the stock market.
Right.
Like not just the S&P for the year,
Right.
the last 100 years of they're outperforming it. Where it's like now, like the boomer advice as far as investing goes would be just put your money in an S&P index fund and forget about it. Now is
I
like going to
wish my
become,
fucking boomer relatives did that, by the way. They didn't. They were
I know,
like, no, I want Patriots season tickets.
my dad his entire life was always like, God, I wish I knew how to, wish I was better with my money.
Yeah, that's my
I
parents
should
too. Yeah.
invest. He was always talking about like I should have invested, or I should figure out how to make my money do something. And I'm like, dog, if you just like switch to it, not even quit drinking, but buy cheaper beer, and then just take
You'd
the
be a
money that's
millionaire. Yeah.
yeah, take the money that's left over and put it in an S&P index fund.
If you switch from Bud Light to Natty Ice.
Yeah, yeah, just like switch to 40s. Switch to exclusively Mickey's. That you could take the
Oh,
money, yeah, take the money that's left over, put that in the S&P, and well, yeah, it'll make money, but even now, but the funny thing is, like now, that it would be it's better advice to say like take all your money out of actually take it out of the S&P, put it in a fart coin because it
don't
looks
do
like that
this.
might actually.
Don't do this. Don't do
This is
this.
not financial advice, but
This
it's
is not
interesting.
financial advice.
I'm curious to see how, like what happens with this because
With Farcoin?
it is like the newest innovation in currency is like it starts with Bitcoin, which is established to uh
I'm a Bitcoin maximalist for those interested.
well, you're a Bitcoin maxi. That's probably the
Hmm.
safest thing to do. But yeah, it starts with Bitcoin, which is like established as a hard currency to hedge against inflation, which is like to say, all right, so the Jews have run amok, and so now we have Bitcoin, which is sort of the solution to a lot of what
The
David Graeber,
final solution, if you will.
yeah, sort of the solution to a lot of what David Graeber talks about.
Yeah.
Um, And then, so from Bitcoin, now there's this new emerging crypto market where you have like a million different utility coins. And then on each of those blockchains, maybe not all of them, but Solana, Base Chain, there's all these different blockchains.
Hmm.
You have meme coins.
Ripple, which did
Yeah,
great over the weekend, by the way.
dude, I'm making so much fucking money on XRP. Everybody told, dude, all the crypto guys told me they were like, That's fucking stupid. That's never gonna make money. It's the dumbest thing you could have bought. It's my best performing investment, dude. I'm making so much
I'm
fucking,
30 crisp George Washington's richer thanks to XRP.
dude. I am up on XRP. I'm up $5,000 on that one.
Based.
Yeah, and so and XRP just within the last year, I think there's the XRP ledger where there are meme coins on XRP. I ain't fucking touching any of that shit. My XRP is gonna just stay as it is. But then Solana is like the biggest meme blockchain. That's where like all
Yeah,
the
you're losing me now.
well, that's where all the DGens go. But I guess like to stay on track, you are seeing this like attempt being made by just like regular people
Yeah.
to circumnavigate what's called TradFi, traditional finance, into these like new modes, these new markets that exist and are valuable because enough people have decided that they do. It's like something like Fartcoin was enough people said, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we got this to flip the stock market?" And enough people
Yes.
enough people held on to it and kept buying and believed in that idea enough that it did. Where now you got was some guy, I some fiduciary guy recently put forward the idea of like you should be able to put Fartcoin up as collateral for a home loan. They it
Yeah,
should
I heard that somebody was considering doing so. Was like some financial institution was considering like
I'm
allowing you to do
mad.
so.
I'm mad that I didn't buy the dip. Like when it first hit $1, which was big, and then it dipped down to like 30 cents, and I said, well, now it's gonna go to zero. And I'm fucking pissed that I didn't buy it because now that's at like $1.50.
Silent but deadly.
Yeah. So that's like I get my biggest when you ask me that my biggest obsession lately, I think like a lot of people's money, but also like the theory of it, I guess, what David Graeber talks about and
Yeah.
how that pertains to I guess meme. How do I get rich on meme coins?
But
Um,
yeah,
I
but
need to
anyway,
find
we're
my
wrapping
wallet.
up, but I just wanted to say if anyone wants to know any more, I will include the description, included at least in the Substack description, but I do have a full episode on explaining liquidity and explaining deficit spending and particularly as it related to COVID and also the run up to the 2024 election. Actually, particularly is right after that. But yeah, so Dalton, what do you want to promote to the dudes and chicks?
um, my
Mostly dudes by a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I have a couple shows I'm involved with. There's my main channel, the Dalton Pruitt channel. It's corn fed with Dalton Pruitt.
Oh yeah.
Um, YouTube.com/ at cornfed with Dalton Pruitt, Patreon.com/ cornfed with Dalton Pruitt.
Shouts out to Sal, who was on our show semi recently. A bit of a polarizing episode, I will say,
Yeah,
but
that
I loved having him on.
Sal's a very funny guy to try and explain anything to because he is not listening or paying attention or
Well, he
even
made
capable
us
of
listen to Hamilton songs and
Yes.
Oh,
insisted we continue playing them, even though I said, I think, Sal, I think I got the gist of the song.
He loves Hamilton, yeah.
I thought
But
it was a bit. I genuinely thought he was fucking with me until
oh
like
yeah.
halfway through it. He's like,
no,
"No,
he
dude, I'm
he loves
serious."
Hamilton. He's a man of multitudes. Um, so yeah, the Corn Fez is a show I do. I guess like the flagship Corn Fez shows me and Sal, and then there's another version of it I do on Saturday. It all streams live on YouTube. Then there's another one I do on Saturdays with my libertarian friend Dave. And then there's a live stream that I do with my friends Robbie Goodwin and Crack Amico,
Robbie Goodwin, friend of the show.
a friend of the show. And that's called The Crowder Boys. And that's on YouTube, youtube.com/ at the Crowder Boys, patreon.com/ the Crowder Boys. So find all that, folks.
Yeah, Robbie Goodwin, single digit episode History Homos guest.
Oh, an
Uh
early investor.
very early and early adopter, if you will. It was while I was still drinking, and then I had 4 years of not drinking, and now I drink again. So that's a long time ago. We had Robbie Goodwin
Nice.
on the
Bring
show.
Robbie back.
I sure I'll hit up Rob. There's been times where Robbie was gonna come on the show and it just didn't happen because he had to like go get a gig or something that week or something. You know what I mean? But
Man's
we'll
gonna make a
have Robbie
dollar.
back. We'll have Robbie back on. And give Sal my best, by the way, Dalton. And of course, at Dalton Pruitt, Dalton Lee Pruitt on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So
at Dalton Lee Pruitt. My middle name is Lee after Robert E.
based. Yeah, so for us, www.historyhomos.com for the RSS feed. We're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, Rockfin, and most importantly, please subscribe at historyhomospod.substack.com. That is the best place to support the show. It's also where you can get a 100% more show. So the second episode per week. It comes out every Thursday night on only on Substack, historyhomospod.substack.com. And I want to underline the fact that it is not us just going, okay, shit, what are we going to talk about? We have a whole topic episode that we do every single week. It's 100% more of the same exact stuff that we talk about on the regular show, and sometimes even more focused, even. So join us over there at Substack. You can also follow us across social media at History Homos Pod, and you can join us in our Telegram group t.me/historyhomos, t.me/historyhomos. Chat is the chat. And if you enter there, fair warning, we do require you to say a slur within an hour. Otherwise, we assume you're an Indian scammer and we kick you out. So please join us over there. It's a good time. And at time of recording, still the friendliest place on the internet. So die with dignity. Patrick, what would you like to say to the people before we go?
I'll give it to Mr. Graeber here. Final words would be, there's nothing divine in paying a debt. What is divine is forgiving a debt.
Mm-hmm.
Later, homos.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Swipe that card, hit a plastic sing. Buy now, pay never, what a curious thing. Balance climbs like a pyramid scheme. They sell you a future, then repossess your dreams. Interest creeping like a thief in the night. FBI fangs in a velvet bite. Minimum payment just feeds the flame. You own nothing, but you're the one to blame. Debt, it's a chain and a velvet glove. Kisses you sweet while it shoves. Death can't see the cage, but it's tight. Living on loan in the neon light. Digital leash with a silicone smile. Ledger says you're free, but it's a file. They sold you life in a monthly fees. Freedom's got terms and legalese. They said you're pre-approved. Didn't say for what. They said you deserve it. Now they've got your lot. You don't pay with cash anymore. You pay with years you forgot. Death, it's a song you hum in your sleep. The dream